John, I appreciate you being on, buddy.
Absolutely.
Man, I was actually really interested to have you on, especially the first time that we talked. Like everything that you do and accomplish, I was like, man, yeah, this is somebody I have to get on. So, before we hop into all the fun stuff, you just want to introduce yourself and,
Sure. My name is John Lyles. I am kind of a jack of all trades, and my most recent thing has been makeup, special effects. I've done a few runway shows. I recently got to work with the Tulsa Ballet. So,
oh damn,
yeah, just my most recent
yeah,
in a long line of things I've enjoyed learning. So.
right, man. That's what I'm trying to be, especially when I get older. Is just having different things that you can look back on and say, I done this, I accomplished this. Like podcasting is great, skits are great, but it's like, what else can you do? What else can you leave your mark on? And just having different things like that is phenomenal. And special effects, that shit is hard.
Oh,
I know they have like some competitions on television. There was this one, I think it was like Face Off, I believe it was. That was pretty dope. I'm like, I have no idea how people can visualize something and then put it on paper. Like me, the only thing that I find I'm creative in is like skits or podcasting. If you ask me to look at a cup and then draw it, I'm like, bro, I have no idea how to do this. But that's really. Oh, go ahead.
That's always been something I've enjoyed doing. Is like I'll think up an idea and then I'm like, how can I make that happen? One of the things I did when I was in makeup class when I was going to school is I wanted to make poppable pimples like that you could like squeeze. So I was like, how can I make this happen? So I figured it out, and I mean they were big just because that's the size mold I have. You know, like a painter's palette with like the white one with all the circles around it. Okay, so I used that as the mold, but I made these poppable pimples, and I actually filled them with like fake blood and like lotion, so it was like chunky, and like when you popped it, it was just like it was this, so many people gagged when I popped them. Like it was. That's how you know you did a good job with the special effects. That was when somebody's like, "Oh my god!"
Shit, then you get those people that be like, "That's fascinating."
Yeah.
And people love popping pimples. I'm like, bro, I don't know.
Yeah.
I hate them. But that's dope, man. I could never like visual. If you would ask me to make some poppable pimples, I'm like, bro, I have no idea. You want some gush? I could glue some gushers on your face. I have no idea. But special effects and like makeup, that's kind of, in my opinion, like rare for people to go into. Like I don't meet a lot of people that want to do that.
Right.
So what was that process like for you, especially having years of experience with doing different things?
So I had been a stay-at-home dad for like 4 years with my youngest daughter, and when she started going to regular pre-K, I had all this extra time on my hand, and my wife was like, "Hey, go do something," because I was in the military, so I had my GI benefits.
Okay.
She was like, "Go to school for something, whatever you want to do. Like, even if you don't do it when you get done with school, just go do it." So.
Right.
I went to Clary Sage, the beauty college in Tulsa, and I walked around, kind of did a tour, and I was like, ooh, I want to do the nail program because I really wanted to learn to work with like the 3D nail art, the UV gels and stuff like that, because I was like, oh, I can use that for other things.
Right.
So like D&D, like I use it to make miniatures now. Like,
dope.
So all the stuff I learned in nail class, I just get to use in my day-to-day life now. And while I was in the nail course, my teacher, Kat Ashby, was the head of the nail and makeup department. She's like the head of the section of the school. And I met her, and I got to see her class, and I got to do a collab with a makeup class. So we did Rocky Horror Picture Nails. I did the nails, and then I actually put the nails on myself, and then they did like Frankenfurter makeup on me.
Oh, shit.
So I got to collab with them, and I like got to see all their stuff that they were doing in class. And I was like, I'm gonna do this next.
Yeah.
So I literally finished my nail program, got my nail license, and then immediately went back to school for makeup. And
that's dope.
So that's how I kind of got into it.
And see, man, and that's another thing that people understand. Even though it's rare, I feel like it's rare because of like stigmas.
Right.
Like, oh, that's gay, or that's...
Oh, yeah.
Bro, come on. Yeah. That is impressive.
I was definitely... So every time I met somebody and they're like, I'd be wearing my Clary Sage, uniform or whatever, my t-shirt, my jacket. They'd be like, oh, are you a massage therapist? I'm like, no, I'm in nails. And they're like, what?
Yeah.
Like, you're going for the... I'm like, yeah, I'm going to the nail program. And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah. And then same thing with makeup. They're like, oh, are you going to massage? Because most guys go through from massage or barber. And I was like, oh, no, I'm in the makeup artistry class. And they're like, makeup? I'm like, yeah, man, it's cool, man. It's fun. So I'd get to scrolling through my phone and be like, I did this, and I did this. I'm like, wow, that's really cool. So
yeah, and that was kind of the similar thing with me when I went to culinary school. Like, of course, men do culinary and chefs and things like that. but people don't understand the fine detail that really goes into like high class nail tech or makeup or culinary, and they don't appreciate it as far as just seeing it as food or nails.
They don't know the knowledge base that it takes to put that out.
Right. When I was talking to somebody a while ago, and he's a barber, and I guess he went to get like his barbering license. They had to learn like the skull and the bones and shit. I'm like, bro, just cut my hair. Don't tell me where shit is at. Just cut it, man. I'm paying you $45.
But that education is why he can charge $45 instead of $15. You know,
that is true.
He can look at the shape of your head and say, okay, well, this cranial plate's going to make a wave in his hair right here, so I got to clip it different. You know, things like that. So.
Oh, see, I'm half white, so my hair doesn't understand what to do. I'm sticking to this. It looks handsome.
Yeah, no, it's a good look.
Thanks, man. I went through a lot. But yeah, man, that's pretty cool. But the military, you're actually the second or third person I've had on the podcast that's been to the military. Right. So tell me what that was like. And was that before you met your wife and had kids?
It was, yeah. I joined straight out of high school when I was 17. I was like, I ain't going to college. Like, I don't like school like that. So, and I wanted to get out and travel. So, joined the Air Force and, literally, me and my parents signed the paperwork when I was still 17, but my mom made me agree to not leave until after my 18th birthday. So, the last 2 months before I left from the military was just the summer vacation before I went. So it was just one little last period with going on camping trips with my friends, stuff like that. And then, September, my birthday's in August. September, I left for base training. Ooh. And did 10 and a half years in the Air Force.
Well, thank you for your service.
Yeah, absolutely, no problem. You paid me well thanks to your tax dollars. So
well, shit, not me. Yeah, I was a kid.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. But you know,
thanks to my parents.
Thank you.
Man, I have so much respect for people in the military, period. And there was a time, actually, I don't know if you know, but I lost 169 pounds, and I didn't understand what I wanted to do. And this was a couple months ago. Podcasting still was a great thing and all this extra stuff, but I was like, the benefits that come with it, schooling, things for my child. I was like, you know what? I'm losing weight for something. Might as well at least just enlist just to have something worthwhile. I would have, but my son's a daddy's boy. He stays with me a lot. And I didn't know he would have to stay here after training as well, unless me and his mom is married.
Right.
And that wasn't a thing, and I just didn't want to leave him alone
totally
with her.
That.
So, not that she's a bad mom, but you know.
No, but you don't want to disappear from his life. I understand that. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
But man, it's definitely an opportunity that I wish I was able to have. But I mean, again, meeting other veterans, that's always a good thing, and then getting their stories.
Anytime I talk to somebody who's still a young person and they're like, oh, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know. I'm like, go do 4 years. Yeah. Do 4 years. Your education will be paid for. You're going to get trained in a job. I'm not a proponent of, the draft for sure, but, in South Korea, they have to do a minimum of 2 years.
I wish America was like that. Because same with Germany. And it's not really the mindset to fight or to go to war.
Exactly.
It is teaching men and women discipline that makes your country stronger, that makes your family stronger.
It forces you to grow up.
Right.
And then you don't have 26-year-old people living
with their moms.
Right. Not that there's anything wrong with that if you're in a position where that needs to be done. Yeah. But, especially for me, like I said, I joined straight out of high school, and you grow up. You have to. So you learn to do all the things that maybe you didn't learn growing up.
I saw this video, and it was talking about this kid. Well, he was a kid at the time, but he was 18 or 17. Went to the military, and then he came back for something. Couldn't drink, couldn't go to bars, and he was like, I'm over here killing people. But when I come here, I'm a kid.
Yep. No.
And that's the thing about America. We don't understand the civilians don't understand the fullness of what our freedom comes at. Right. And these people being treated less than, even now you see a lot of veterans on the side of the road asking for money. And I'm like, for people who get mad at kneeling at the national anthem at football.
Right.
But these people are laying on the...
You don't see that same outrage.
Ooh, pisses me off, man. So, what was your first experience with the military? Because of course you go through basic, you go through all that yelling and shit. Was that easy for you, or was that something to get used to? Because my parents yelled at me.
I was gonna say, no, we were definitely a corporal punishment and a yelling household. So the yelling didn't get to me, and honestly, like right after basic training, before I got out of basic training shape, I would have done another 6 weeks. Just the camaraderie inside your flight, like you get so tight with that group of guys, just swapping, like doing this, swapping stories. Watching out for each other. It was just a cool group of guys. I mean, maybe I was just lucky. Maybe that's not everybody's experience, but
right.
You make those bonds, and you find out like, oh shoot, you're from 45 minutes where I grew up. We never met, but we traveled to another state and we meet each other. So, it was a good experience. I enjoyed it. I was in good shape when I left. Like I prepped for it. Like I was running every day, push-ups, pull-ups, and so when I got there, the PT wasn't a big deal to me. Like I was already in good shape. So like
that's how I felt.
I
was still fat, but I was like, I can run.
And that's one thing I will say negative about is base training. They thought I was fat. Like I was in the best shape of my life. I was right around 200 pounds, but and I'm tall. I'm a tall guy.
Right.
And the whole time they're like, Lyles, you got too much girth. Lyles, they call me Lyles. They mispronounced my name the whole time.
And they didn't
Lyles,
give a fuck.
and I didn't say
shit. They didn't give a fuck.
I didn't say a word. It was actually my TI the last day I was there. He was like, "Great job, Lyles, congratulations." And I was like, "It's actually Lyles, sir." And he looked at me and he said, "You let me call you Lyles for 6 weeks?" And I said, "Yes, sir." He's like, "Good call."
Yeah.
I was
because
like,
I would have made you run until your name became.
Yeah, but no, it was a good experience. Going through with ADHD was a bitch.
Oh damn.
Because I'm one of those guys like, oh, butterfly. Like I look all the time, and that got me twice.
Butterflies?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't actually a butterfly. It was something shiny. It was something shiny. Like I'm like a fish. We were doing drill out there, learning to march and everything, and everybody's in sync. He's watching us, making sure everybody's heads are bouncing at the same level. And I saw something shiny out of the corner of my eye, and my little animal brain looked at it.
Yeah.
And he stopped us, and he said, "Lyles, what are you looking at over there?" And I stepped out, "Sir, trainee Lyles reports as ordered." Yeah, I saw something shiny, sir. He was like, "Why don't you go find it?" I was like, "Damn."
Making sure it wasn't the enemy, sir.
So for real, I had to, I thought I saw a sniper. No.
Right.
So I was walking around the pad, and I found this this metal bottle cap, and I brought it back, and he was like, "Did you find it?" I was like, "Yes, sir. I found this bottle cap." And he was like, "I don't think that's it. Why don't you keep looking?"
Oh shit! Even if it was,
exactly. So I was like, "Yes, sir." So I go around and I just start picking up every piece of garbage I can find. So I got this ball of shit, like paper clips and rubber bands and like a hair tie and like just everything I could find. And I come back and I'm like, he's like, "Did you find it?" I'm like, "I'm pretty sure it's in here somewhere."
It's one of these. Well, you can think at this point, sir.
And he didn't laugh. But I found out 3 or 4 times throughout basic training, he was like, "You almost made me laugh. Like, I almost laughed." So he's like, "Go throw that shit away and get back in line."
Yeah.
So,
And see, that's a great personality to have, man. Like, once I started transitioning into this new man, I don't let shit bother me as much as I used to. Or even, normal people. Like, if people cut me off, as long as I'm safe, fuck it. As long as you didn't hit my car, cool. Yeah. Will I get mad in the car? 100%. But I'm not driving after nobody. I'm not flicking nobody off. Because I know what level I'll take it to if they get out their car. Like, you can cuss me out in your car, but if you get out, you will die.
Yeah, I don't. It's better than it used to be, but I used to have a really bad tip.
Oh.
Like, I was a high
end. And so you said 10 years in the military?
Yep.
Is it 20 years to retire?
20 to retire, yeah. I actually got medically discharged.
Okay.
So whenever you get injured, they'll do a med board on you, and they'll say either yes, you're good enough to continue in service, or no, you're too injured. We're gonna go ahead and separate. So it's an honorable discharge, but it was a medical discharge. So, I hurt my back, and really I hurt it early on, but it just continued to kind of snowball until it was finally bad enough that I was no longer able to do my job. So.
Yeah, the back is such a unique, or not unique, an important thing to your well-being. I watch a lot of old WWE veterans now. They talk about, my hips are bad, my back is bad, Like I think Hulk Hogan said he's shorter now the way he used to be.
From the spine.
Yeah, because they fused all his shit together.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm trying to get in shape. I'm trying to be sexy, man.
Yeah.
Like have these abs, so if I do get into a car wreck, I'll be all right. Kind of.
There you go. Something to hold you there, other than just
So, what did you do in the military? Because I know there's different jobs.
I was an aircraft mechanic.
Oh, shit.
I started out on jets. I learned to work on this F-16, and then my first airframe that I worked on out of tech school was the B-1 bomber.
Shit.
So it's the exact same motor. It's just scaled up.
Okay.
It's about 3 times the size of an F-16 engine. It's a much larger motor. But yeah, I worked on that for 6 years at Dyess Air Force Base in Abilene, Texas, and then transferred to Peterson in Colorado Springs and completely relearned everything to work on the C-130s because I went from everything's computer and plug and play to basically something that was all mechanical. Like to adjust the fuel flow, you're turning screws.
Golly.
So yeah, it was crazy trying to relearn everything because it was a completely different shred. Like you either went through for jets or props when you went through tech school, and I went through for jets. But the government, all their wisdom, de-shredded everybody. So essentially, they were like, if you can work on one airplane, you can work on all airplanes. Right. Which it ain't like that. But you have to completely relearn your job. But so that was like my first experience of like really learning something new because. Once you kind of learn the basics with the jet engines, especially me, I was working back shop, so there was no troubleshooting. There was no working on the flight line in the cold. I was in a building, literally just swapping parts,
chilling.
Like and we did all the way down to like we would take it all the way to the point where you take the core out and change the individual blades. Like, so I mean, we did full all the way to 10-level maintenance on them, but once I switched over to props, it was a totally new ball game.
Yeah.
Because they were like, all these people who've been working on props their whole career, and they like to play stump the chump. So they ask you a question and you should know the answer. And they were asking me these questions. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what the fuel flow should be. Like, is it on the computer?
Right.
Like,
shit, the computer should tell you, man. I'm just gonna give you parts.
Yeah.
Like, just let me know what part you need.
It was a good group of guys, but man, they just loved making me look dumb. Like, it was one of their favorite hobbies. So
I was watching. I don't know if you know who he is, but Andrew Tate. He's like.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, he's very controversial to a lot of people, but to me, he makes a lot of sense sometimes. But he said when you're around a group of guys and you know that they will be there to save you, that becomes your main focus. Like, of course, your wife and family is a big thing, but if you're getting beat up by 10 people, do you want to call your boys or your wife and kids, you know? And that's, like you were saying earlier, with the camaraderie of just individuals doing the same thing. Like, yes, it's hazing at some points, or it's unfortunate that they would try to make you feel dumb, but at the end of the day, they probably die for you, you know?
Well, and the important thing to know about this, like, stump the chump makes you look stupid, but it's coming from a place of knowledge. They're like, you should know these things, so we're going to drill you, so you need to be learning them. So even though, it makes you look stupid at the morning roll call, it's also saying, hey, this is important, so remember this fact.
Right.
Like, because when you're out there working, you need to know what the fuel flow should be. Like, so, you know, and that's any group of male friends, you're going to get that razzing. But I think those male relationships are super important, too.
I agree. And, see, that's another thing with me, man. Like, once I started podcasting and different things, the individuals who I grew up with, I no longer conversated with them because now the conversation is different. I want to worry about the next podcast or in the future. Yeah. And that wasn't what they were on. You know, who's better at basketball or what women we can get. Right. I'm too old for that at this point. I have a son.
You're at a different point in your life.
Right. Yeah. I got shit to do in the morning. I can't be out having drinks.
Yeah.
And when I did find other individuals who not only looked up to me, but I looked up to them, we started pushing each other on a whole nother level that was unfathomable. Like 169 pounds, I worked out 90% of my time alone. But understanding that other people started to pick it up and have weight loss as well, I'm like, oh shit, now I can't stop. Even though I want to. Like, it's been 3 years and I'm still fat, man. And I'm just like, but I can't because they're not.
But you're smaller.
I
like, don't look at that, I'm fat.
I have a bad thing about that, man.
Like,
I know.
No, I get it too. I'm a big guy too, so I understand. Like,
yeah, I have really bad body dysmorphia.
Yeah.
Like, I go to the gym every day, and I put on Facebook a while back ago, guys, I will always post because I want you guys to see that I'm still working out and that you can do it. After a while, just seeing myself every day, I'm like, bro, I can't see, like, I don't see anything. And it started fucking with my mental health. So I decided to not post until July, and I'm hoping July's my finish.
Just go for that big, like,
that big reveal. But yeah, like being smaller, I did get a lot of confidence, especially dating my ex-girlfriend now. I don't know if you...
I didn't know that, but...
Yeah. Oh, miss her. But anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the confidence of knowing that with change and being better, you can invite people into your life who are also great people as well. And is that something that you found out after you got out the military? Like, I don't have these guys anymore that I was used to for 10 years. Did you come back and try to find those same group of people?
So I'm a Leo, so like anytime I walk into a room, I'm like, oh, everybody come here. Yeah. Let's be friends.
Everybody's
like,
my friend.
We're all doing shots. So like I've never had a problem finding a group of friends regardless of like zone. Even when I was in beauty school, like with the ladies, I was like, well, I'm like, all right, who's partying with me? Like, anywhere I go, I'm making friends. So I didn't really struggle once I got back into a job. Like before I found a job, once I came back to Oklahoma, that was like, it was a rough period because I didn't have a group of friends. It was like just me. Yeah. Like, and I was just kind of hanging out in limbo waiting to find something.
And is that still before you met your wife as well?
No. So I met my wife. I actually met my wife before I joined the military. We just didn't date. She's 3 years younger than me, I think. 4 years younger than me. She's my brother's age. Okay. So she was in my brother's class when I was a senior. They were in 8th grade. Mm-hmm. And I told my brother, I was like, man, that Carly chick's pretty cute. You know, you should date her. Yeah. Or somebody else is going to. And then she ended up having class with me. She was in an honors class or a senior class. It wasn't an honors class. It was just a senior level class. And I started talking to her. And oh yeah, she's so
smart as shit. By the way, guys.
She's the reason. Yeah, she's the reason that I have power and water and everything in my house because she's responsible and I'm a giant child. So. But yeah, no, she's very intelligent, very, very smart lady. But, yeah, I started talking to her and flirting with her. And then I asked her if she'd date me. And, she went home and told her dad. And her dad was like, no, senior boys only want one thing and they ain't getting it from you. Right. So, yeah, we kind of kept in contact a little bit. We talked on the phone. And then, eventually, once she was, I think she was 17, maybe 16 or 17. And that's when we started dating. It was actually Valentine's Day, so our like anniversary of start. Yeah. So I sent her roses to school. That's dope. That was when it was like, okay, that's like our official like relationship start date was that Valentine's Day. But she was actually out sick that day, so I sent the roses to the school, and so we had to take them to her at her house. But yeah, and then we dated for a year, and then February 15th, we went to the courthouse and got married. Oh, shit. So that I could move out of the dorms and start saving money for a real wedding. Yeah. Not that the courthouse isn't a real wedding, but, a church wedding, the wedding she wanted.
A proper wedding.
Yeah. So we got married in February on 15th, and then I moved off base. We started saving money, and then June 2nd, we had our church wedding. We actually rented the Holy City Chapel in the Wichita Mountains. There's a wildlife refuge out there, and there's an old like frontier cobblestone chapel. It's like a Catholic chapel out there.
Oh damn! Do you have to go upstairs for it? Because I think I went to one. It was like close to your house now, but it was like this big ass land, and then it had like a church on top.
No, this one was. This is down by Lawton. Okay. It's out by Fort Sill and Lawton. It's like the Wichita Mountain Wildlife Refuge. Oh, so there's like buffalo and longhorn, and they just roam free. We actually had buffalo at our wedding, like they were in the parking lot.
That's pretty dope, man.
But no, we got married out there, and yeah, so it's my anniversary coming up soon. God, forever together.
That's dope.
Yeah,
man.
We've been together a long time.
You see, that's why I try to tell people, like, love is such a beautiful thing, but we look for it in individuals who are not, I don't want to say worthy of being loved, because everybody is worthy of being loved, but being loved by you, if that makes sense. I've found out that I've given my love to individuals who didn't necessarily appreciate it. So before I met my Eugenie, I had one other girlfriend. It was my son's mom, and back then my heaviest was 477, but I was really big and insecure back then, and she was the only girl who would like me. So I took her up on the offer, and I thought she would be forever. But like any other story, it didn't go the way that I planned it out to be. And of course, there was some cheating and arguments and all this extra shit that led up over time. So to hear a story that works, and a story that, I wouldn't say work, because of course it's work in progress all the time, but a story that is different from, in my opinion, the norm. Because now there's more single parents than there are married individuals. And what do you think was the main thing that kept you and your wife together? Because of course this shit is difficult. Like the day you saw me at the wedding, or not, excuse me, not the wedding, your party. Yeah. 3 hours later, I was single.
Oh my god,
the shit! It happens fast, okay? Yeah, it goes. But I'm glad I met y'all, man.
Yeah, me dope. Too. This is it was a good opportunity to meet someone new.
Do some comedy and some skits in the future, man.
Man, the most important thing is communication. Regardless of what happens between the two people, communication is going to save your ass. Yeah. So if you can sit down with that person and just have a legitimate conversation, like, it doesn't have to be serious all the time. But if it's not somebody that you enjoy just doing this with, that is not going to be a long-lasting relationship. Because if it's purely based on physical, beauty fades. Yeah. If it's not a connection on multiple levels, sure, obviously there's that initial attraction. But if you can't have an intelligible conversation with the person, when you're in your 30s, 40s, or older, you're not going to sit there at that coffee table and enjoy spending time with that person. Yeah. So really, when you're looking for a partner, don't just look for somebody that you're like, oh, they're attractive, they find me attractive. Look for somebody that says, I like you regardless. Like, me and my wife have some of our best conversations doing what we call date night. It's not a date night. It's Girl Scout night. We take my middle daughter to Verdigris for Girl Scouts. That's where she goes to Girl Scouts. Yeah. So our date nights, because we're busy all week. We got 3 kids. 3 kids, yeah. Our date night is we drive her to Verdigris. We drop her off at the church with the Girl Scouts. We go to Brahms for ice cream and sit in the parking lot and eat it together and just, talk, or even just scroll on our phones and just be in each other's presence. Like, that doesn't have to be an important conversation. It's just a matter of, like, look at this stupid video. Yeah. Like, look at this dumbass. Like, just trying to find those moments where you can spend that quality time with the person.
That's beautiful. And of course, there's always two sides of a coin. So when things are not beautiful, it's of course the communication, but when the communication doesn't seem to work, because to me, of course, communication is key, but understanding, I think, is a little deeper, because we can talk all the time, but if you don't understand where I'm coming from and I don't understand where you're coming from, there's still going to be tension. Right. So when you do have those rough patches, what keeps y'all solid?
I think it's important not only for communication and honest communication, but trust, knowing that person means what they say. So that trust has to be there, because, I mean, you can spout all the bullshit you want to. Like, some people, I'm a talker. Like, I can talk, but Carly knows that when I sit down and we're having a serious moment and I'm telling her something, that she can trust and believe that what I say is the truth. Like, this is how I feel. This is, and that's a big thing too, is like being able to convey those feelings. Like, this is how you made me feel, and this is why. Like, so that you can sit down and work on anything that has come up.
Yeah. And what I find really fascinating when I see people who are in a relationship that works is when you do have those moments of, this is what you did to me, that person doesn't automatically say, well, this is what you did to me, and that's why I did that. And that's something that I've experienced in my past. And I'm like, that doesn't work. Like, even now, if somebody says I hurt them in whatever way, I will apologize for that if I feel I'm right or wrong. Yeah. Just because I don't know how I made you feel.
Yeah, and you don't have to apologize for the act if you don't think you did something wrong. You don't have to apologize for the act.
Mm-hmm.
You can apologize. You can say, "I'm sorry that you felt that way about this."
And this is I wasn't. Trying
I'm
to
not
make
admitting
you feel
guilt. I'm not saying I did anything wrong, but I am sorry that it made you feel that way.
For sure. And to me, I think that just shows maturity on my part. And there's just being a man. I mean, I feel like men are supposed to bear burdens that other people, like women and children, are not supposed to. And if that means, shit, I made mom cry because I didn't compliment her hair, you know, and it's that time of the month and now she's upset. God. I apologize. You feel me? And instead of saying, well, you're always tripping about this, and now it's like you're cutting into, what is the word? So I feel like even if you break glass, you can still piece it back together. Mm-hmm. But if you have a magnifying glass or a microscope, you'll see there's little shards that are missing. Yeah. And those little shards are important for the stability of it to be what it was. And when we start to have little arguments about things, or if you don't appreciate something that she does for you, those little things will start to fall apart. Right. And then 15, 20 years later, there's no connection anymore. Yeah. So that's really dope that you two have that. Because even when I met you two for the first time, I felt it. You know, how you guys played with each other or talked. I was like, man, this is really unique, and I commend you guys on that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's like I said, it's been a long time. We've been together a long time. So, and I think another big thing is like being able to recognize when you're just in a bad mood. Like this happened to us. Happened to us Saturday. I woke up. And I was like, oh, it's going to be a good day. It's going to be a good day. Right. I forgot I was supposed to drive my daughter to a Girl Scout event on Saturday.
Oh, damn.
So she texts me from the room, and she's like, hey, are you guys at the church? I'm like, no, I'm on the couch. And she's like, well, you got to take Elva to Girl Scouts. She's got Thinking Day. Yeah. They, you know, celebrate another nation and learn about it and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, dang, I forgot. So I'm like, where is it? And she's like, it's at the regular church. Well, I took that to mean it's at the one she goes to Girl Scouts at. But I was wrong. It's at the one regular church they do Thinking Day at, which is in Owasso, not Verdigris.
I feel like that's a man thing. Like, I would have thought the same thing.
Because I was in my morning brain. Like I already turned the PlayStation on. You know, I was firing up Ark.
Shit. I think Saturday was that the day PlayStation went down.
It was that evening. Yeah. Oh. So I was like, oh, I'm about to hatch some eggs and kill some dinosaurs. And I was like, dang, Elva, get up. We're supposed to be there now. We got to drive to damn Verdigris. Right. So I'm on my way to Verdigris. I'm hauling ass. Pulling to the church parking lot, there's one car. I'm like, oh, this ain't right. This is not the right church, because Thinking Day is a big deal. Like, there should be like a packed parking lot. So I text her, I'm like, hey, what church is it at? And she's like, you know, Faith Lutheran in Owasso. I'm like, son of a bitch. So I'm pissed. I'm just in a pissy mood. I'm like, Elva, don't talk to me. I'm gonna make you cry. Like, it's not you, it's me. But just don't talk to me. So I finally get her to the church. I feel bad because she was supposed to be on the color guard, so she missed that. So I drop her off, and I'm driving to the house, and Carly texts me, and she's like, hey, me and the baby are going downtown. We're going to walk around downtown Collinsville for the Valentine's thing. They were having an event. She's like, do you want to go? And I was like, no, please go without me. Because I knew if I went, I was going to make both of their time miserable. Yeah. Because I was just in a bad mood. And then they got done with that, and they came back. And I mean, it was all day. I was in a bad mood. And I told her that. She was like, do you want to do this? I'm like, no, I don't want to do anything. I want you to do whatever you want to do without me, because if I go with you, I'm going to ruin it. Right. I'm going to make you mad. I'm going to pick fights. I'm going to nitpick. I'm just going to be a negative influence on your entire day. I was like, you don't need that. I don't need that. Let's just take this time. You go do you. Yeah. Like, so, and everybody has those days, you know, male or female. We've all got cycles we're on. And I told her that. I was like, this is going to be a bad day.
Right.
Like,
See, I'm the type of man who, if I do get upset, I'm going to need like some hours to understand how I feel and understand what I need to say to you. And that's something my son's mom didn't understand. We would have like a little argument, and I would still be in a mood. And she was like, bro, just be happy. I'm like, I would feel fake if I just now be happy. Yeah. Like, I gotta feel this. And that's really mature, because I've done things like that where still upset, but I try to make it work, and the shit doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't. And it is mature to be able to look at it, because I haven't always been able to do that. You know, like I said, I was a hothead. I had a bad temper, and there were times where I was just I was just a negative influence on everything around me.
Yeah.
And I try to not do that anymore. I mean, I'm almost 40. If I can't control my own feelings at 40, like, there's an issue. Like,
Right.
I feel like you've had 40 years to figure your signs out. Like, if somebody sneezes and it pisses you off, that's you, not them. Like,
right.
If somebody's breathing is irritating you, that's you. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry if they're loud breathing, but put some headphones on or walk away. That is not their fault. Like,
Man. You don't gain patience without being in a patient situation.
that's not wrong. Yeah, no.
Man, that's hilarious. But I mean, I'm glad she was still able to get there, and of course,
Oh yeah.
you were able to.
She had a good day. Like, she enjoyed it. I was, like I said, I went home, and while she went to downtown Collins with the baby, I turned the PlayStation back on.
Yeah.
Like, I just got my head out of it, got in the game, and
it was cool.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't think people who are not fathers, I don't think they understand. Like, tell me if you feel this way. So if I fuck up with something with my son, or he misses something, or he doesn't, like, it's cold as fuck outside. I don't want him to be inside all the time, but I can't because he gets sick.
Yeah.
And now it's like, man, you're a bad father, or why can't you figure out something to do, and shit like that. And in that instance, I'm like, I blame myself for being late, or I blame myself for going to the wrong one, because like, Julian, you're supposed to know this.
Oh
shit.
no, yeah.
So it's not like frustrated at taking the child, or frustrated because she asked you to go. It's like, now I feel like a dick.
Yeah,
because
I did.
I fucked up all this shit, and
I told her that, and I was like, I feel bad because they had been practicing for weeks.
Yeah.
She was supposed to be like leading the Pledge of Allegiance and all these things, and I was like, I'm sorry you missed that. I'm sorry you missed almost an hour of your event. Like, that's on me, not you. I mean, you know, and of course, like, when I woke her up, she was like, I set an alarm. I was like, well, apparently it didn't go off, huh? And then I have to go back and apologize to my children.
Yeah. I do as well.
I'm like, hey, listen, I apologize. Like, I shouldn't have yelled at you for something so stupid. Like, if I made you feel bad, I'm sorry. Like,
yeah, because parenting is not the same as being a dictator.
Yeah.
Being a parent is showing these young seedlings how to react to everyday things, especially people who are angry, especially people who are rude or who are disrespectful, or just dicks all around.
Yeah, it's not just teaching them to tie their shoes; it's teaching them how to be a person.
Right.
I mean, everything you do, they're learning. So, like, if they learn, it's okay to mess up, but you go back and you try to make it right. You say, "Hey, I'm sorry that I did that or made you feel that way." I'm bad about it, especially if I'm doing something. If I'm focused, and because it's hard for me to focus sometimes, anyways. But if I am like zoned in and focusing, and they come in, I might dismiss them. I'm like, no, not now. I am busy. I come back. I'm like, hey, I shouldn't have been short with you. What did you need? Like, what did you want to ask me for? Of course, I'll read that book with you. Of course, I'll help you get this or that. Like, I'm sorry that I took so long to come in here.
Yeah, and that's just showing them, man. Like, now, because I try not to be too hard on my son, but I don't want him to feel like I'm his friend, if that makes sense. Like, I'm your father at the end of the day. You are supposed to look at me for guidance, leadership, etc. But again, that doesn't mean we can't have fun and play and shit. And when it comes to him like interrupting me with some things, I'm like, because I do sometimes. Oh my gosh, I'm fucking up. So I do 2 workouts a day. I go to Planet Fitness and I box as well. And that's all before he gets out of school. Yeah. And I'm exhausted sometimes. And he's like, Daddy, I want to play, or I want to wrestle. And I'm like, ooh, I just want to chill. And then again, it's like, Julian, it's not his fault that you gained hella weight and now losing it. It's not his fault that you're exhausted. So be daddy. Yeah. Like, what are you really doing that's more important than him? And there's nothing that's more important than him.
Absolutely.
So the answer is always nothing.
It's cool to watch how that relationship can evolve too, because like, yeah, absolutely. When they're little, there has to be that I'm not your friend, I'm your parent.
Yeah.
But the older they get, the more you've taught them and they can do things on their own, that's when you can start to enjoy those friendship relationships. Like, my wife absolutely loves having teenage daughters because, I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong, they butt heads, and she's like, oh my God, I'm gonna kill them. Yeah. Like, obviously she never would, but she's like, yeah, I'm so sick of this, but she likes being able to sit down and have a conversation with my daughters
Right.
on a level, not parent to child, but person to person, you know, and see who they are, you know, what they love, you know,
because they are their own person.
Exactly. Like, yeah, you want them to. You're not raising a carbon copy,
right?
You're trying to bring this new person up. Like, it's not. You got to let them love what they love and dislike what they dislike. You can't say, hey, I want you to do this if they don't like it. I mean, we've never done that. I've always been a big proponent of, like, if they don't like something, don't make them do it. Like, obviously, cleaning their rooms, brushing their teeth, things like that.
Right.
I don't care if you like it or not. Go wash your ass.
Yeah,
like,
my son hated it. Like, can we do it later? Today is later. Right now is later.
You already skipped yesterday.
Man.
Yeah. But, you know, if she tries one of them tries a sport and they don't like it, I'm not gonna make them keep doing the sport. Right. I don't want to be here on Saturday either.
Man,
like,
shit.
You know, I don't understand. Like, I mean, I guess some parents just really enjoy sports, but I mean, there's plenty of things to get a scholarship for.
Right.
Like,
well, I feel like a lot of people live through their children.
Oh yeah, vicariously.
Yeah, my father, he's in California, and he was like, "Yeah, I tell people all the time that you're doing things that I wanted to do," and I was like, "Then nigga, why didn't you do it then? Like, don't put the pressure on me because I'm doing it my way. You feel me? Like, I'm not gonna sit here and try to get criticism. Not that he really gives me criticism on things, but I'm not gonna sit here and think, well, I'm doing this for my father. No, everything I got is because of me.
Yeah, and I get them like being proud. Like my dad likes to he likes to brag. He's a bragger. So he likes to tell people, "Oh, my son's done this. He's done that."
Yeah,
I get that, but also like he doesn't expect me to do something like for him.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
No,
know.
that makes total sense. But earlier you said you lived in a capital punishment. Is that the word?
Corporal punishment.
Corporal.
My parents did not spare the rod.
Right. And how do you think that but how do you think that affected you to when you did go to the military, when you did have a family? How do you think that molded you to be the man that you are now?
So I definitely have a high tolerance for pain.
I'm a boxer. I get punched a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, the corporal punishment, I mean, that's not so much something you deal with in today's military. Like, they might make you do push-ups and stuff like that. They're not going to,
waterboard you and
shit. They don't tie you to a post in front of everybody and whip you. You know, like, that's not a thing anymore. But it definitely, like, me and my wife were raised in completely different households. Like, her household was definitely a different world. So to have the two of us come together and try to raise children together was there was definitely a lot of conversation on, okay, discipline or things they're allowed to do outside of the house. You know, are we going to be one of those parents that lets them run the neighborhood? Are we going to, like, you need to be able to where I can see you, you know, things like that. So
especially with girls, man, that's a scary fucking thing.
We and like I said, there was a lot of conversations like, are we going to spank our kids? Like, is that something we're going to do? And Elva, my middle child, is me reincarnated as a female. She has definitely been spanked more than once. Right. But it was a very rare occasion. And obviously, once she hit a certain age, I was like, she's too old to be spanked. We're done with that. Like, and it was I was always afraid of going overboard. Like, I never wanted to leave marks on them. Like, I was always worried I was going to hit them too hard because I'm huge and they're not. Like, they were these tiny little things. I didn't want to hit her. Right. You know? And so it was always, I would not spank them if I was angry. If I was angry, I was like, I'm not going to put my hands on them if I'm angry. Like, I'm going to tell them, you're going to get punished. It's going to come later. Yeah. And I'm going to leave the room and cool down.
Put the ass whooping on layaway.
Yeah. You're going to collect, but not right now because I'm going to hit you way more than I need to. And that's what it was. Like I said, I had a temper. Man. And I never wanted to put my hands on my kids in anger because I didn't know that. I didn't think I would go overboard and do something horrible. You never know. But I didn't want to take that first step and risk spanking them when I was angry. So did I ever spat their hand out of reflex like, damn it, quit, you know, things like that? Yeah. 100%. But that was one thing that I was like, I don't want to hit them when I'm angry. So yeah. And I never used anything. It was always hand. I didn't pick up an item and hit them with it.
There was no belts. There was no paddles.
My mom did.
No,
everything.
Yeah, whatever was closest.
Man.
Yeah, I got hit with so much stuff. The last time I got spanked, I was 16 years old, and I mean, I graduated when I was 17, so I was a junior in high school.
Yeah.
Like, I was damn near grown, and my dad decided, he was like, "You're not too big for me to whoop your ass," and verbatim, that's what he said to me. And so he made this big show. He went outside and he got this piece of lumber and fired up the saw. It was like, and drilled holes in it. And baseball gripped it. He made me a fresh paddle. I'm talking, it was like a 2-inch thick piece of like door frame, and made this big show of like making this paddle. And his thing, our thing was he made you put your hands flat on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was like, "Put your hands on the couch." And I'm just like, this is so dumb. I can't believe he's whooping my ass. I was, and I thought I was grown already. I wasn't, but I thought I was. And so I put my hands on there, and he reared back, and he gave me, he whooped my ass all through school. Like, I could take a whooping.
Yeah.
Man, he hit me one good lick with that paddle, and the handle broke off, and I started laughing, and he cleared that bell. I was like, and then just went to hit me, and I laughed the whole time he whooped my ass. And after that, he was like, "This is pointless." Like, he was after he was wailing on me.
Man, that's why. See, eventually I'm gonna teach my son how to box. He loves fighting and wrestling right now, but it's that discipline that I want to show him. But then again, I'm gonna show him this man strength when he gets about 15, 16. I'm gonna hit you with the liver, and let's see if you laugh about that. Yeah. Because man, those are. They hurt, man.
I have never boxed.
It's beautiful. Like even if you don't fight against somebody, just to me, like I don't know if you heard, like boxing is the sweet science because it's so beautiful. Like they say, dance partner because it looks like poetry in motion, especially if you find a good fighter. But the confidence that I gained with that, I feared no man. And it's not that I'm tough or I think that I'm somebody that I'm not, but it's. I know how to defend myself at least to a point to where I could make it home, God willing, you know? Or if the other person does know how to fight, it's going to be a great fucking fight.
Yeah, because a lot
of people don't know how to fight or throw a punch. Yeah. Period. But then you got the wrestlers and the jiu-jitsu guys, and I'm like, ooh, I'll leave y'all alone.
Yeah. I don't want to get submitted.
Right. Well, in a street fight, man, grabbing somebody, they could just bite you or like hit you in the nuts. Yeah. So like those guys, I'm like, okay, but a wrestler, they are big as fuck. I'm like,
what was the first time you ever got punched?
Oh, that's a great question. Okay, I don't remember if this was the first time, but this was the first time I got hit so fucking hard. Yeah. So I was still pretty out of shape. It was when I was probably a junior or senior in high school. And I went to my first sparring session. It was supposed to be amateur sparring, but I think these guys have been doing it for a while. I threw a right hand, and I missed, or he either leaned back and hit me so fucking hard in the nose. I was like, this is weird. Because, like, a part of you wants to cry. Another part of you wants to beat him up. But then you're so confused. It's like, how did he hit me this fucking fast? But yeah, it was the first time I got punched in the face. It was at boxing. And then again, years later, I'm sparring now a little bit more often. And there's this guy. So I don't think people understand. Being fat, guys, yes, you're big, but when you lose weight, you're not technically what you were at that weight. Meaning, so I was sparring this guy who's 12 pounds lighter than I am. So I'm 320 or 312, whatever. I say 304 because, that sounds better. But he's like 300. Yeah. So on paper, it should make sense. But again, I was really fat. I was mostly fat. And now I'm coming down. This man has been strong since like high school. Yeah. Okay, so when he hits me, I'm looking at him like, sir, please don't hit me this hard again. But yeah, man, being punched is not fun. Yeah. But again, with boxing, it feels different because now what you're doing to me, I can do to you. Right. And vice versa. But yeah. All in a nutshell. That's the first time I ever got hit.
Wow. So you never got just like cold cocked out of nowhere?
No.
The first time I ever got full on punched in the face.
See, I'm from the hood. You got to look at everybody all the time.
Yeah. I went to a small school. I think my hometown had 1,700 people. Like it was a small school. So the high school didn't even have a cafeteria. So for lunch, you would walk from the high school like 4 blocks to the grade school to the cafeteria and eat lunch. So we were walking to lunch, me and 2 of my best friends, and there was just this. I mean, he was a meth head. Like he was clearly a meth head. He was just hauling ass up the street, just sprinting in a wife beater and no shoes. And I know, on like asphalt. Like it wasn't even smooth ground. It was like
it's probably hot as shit.
He was hauling ass, and we were laughing like, what is this guy doing? Yeah. And he ran right up to me and just caught me in the chin. But he was like,
oh, that's the place to do it.
He hit me right in the face, and then I looked at him. Because he didn't, I mean, he was not strong. He was strung out and like skinny, but he caught me. It was a flush hit, like it made a nice pop. And I looked back down at him. He goes, "Shit, you're the wrong guy." And then he ran between 2 houses and jumped the fence like a squirrel running away.
Yeah, you ain't catching a crackhead. Yeah, you are not catching them.
So I looked at my friend Thomas and I was like, "Did he just punch the shit out of me?" He was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Damn,
man."
I didn't even know what to do.
See, I'm gonna have to fight Thomas because why do you not hit him?
Yeah,
come on, Thomas.
Yeah. No,
Thomas, if you see this in the future,
I think we were all just confused.
Yeah,
like,
I bet
it's like watching something that doesn't belong in your house run across the floor, like a chicken. Like if a chicken just ran across your living room, you're like, the fuck did that chicken come from?
Right.
Like that's how I felt. Like I was like, what the hell just happened? But that was the first time I got punched in the face. Was just.
Man.
This is a rando. Like I don't even know who he was, where he was from. He just punched the shit out of me. Realized I was not who he meant to punch, and then ran like hell.
See, man. Oh, see, everybody has family members who are on drugs.
Oh yeah.
So the family members who I know or who I grew up with that are on drugs are the funniest people that you will ever meet. They will talk to you for fucking 7 hours without you paying attention to them or even caring. They'll talk to you.
If you're in the vicinity.
Yeah. And sometimes I'm like, I don't like being a dick. So sometimes I like go along with the conversation. But other times I'm like, yeah, I can't do it. But yeah, a meth head punching me, that would.
Yeah, it was weird.
I would have to find him and like. Just tell him no more drugs for you.
He's like,
you can't beat up a meth addict. First of all, it's not fair. Second of all, they probably won't feel the pain. Yeah. So you have to fuck with them psychologically. You got to get like that blue meth from Breaking Bad. You're like, this is not yours.
I'm gonna flush it. I'm gonna flush it right down the toilet. You gotta watch. No, just kill me. Don't flush it.
Take me instead.
It didn't do anything to you.
That's hilarious. So man, with everything you've done, there's still a lot that you want to do. Like you were showing me some of the comedians that you met and some shows that you've been to. Is that another? I don't remember if you said you wanted to do it or if you wanted to.
No, I would love to. I would love to do comedy. I've always wanted to like put a set together and go do an open mic, and I just haven't ever done it. Like,
dude, you should, man.
I feel like fun. I'm always worried. Like when I write something down, like, is this funny or do I just think this is funny?
Oh. But see, that's another thing. If you find people who are like you and you think it's funny,
and
they think it's funny.
And me and some of my friends, I was in an acting troupe, and me and some of my friends were like, let's all get a 5 together and all go do open mic together. And it's one of those things that we never did. But I would still love to.
Dude,
I would love to start writing some of my thoughts down that I think are humorous, and then to go do an open mic.
Yeah, if you ever want somebody to go with, I'll definitely go with you.
Oh yeah.
The guy I sent you on the podcast, Jared, he's really big in comedy, and I think he has a open mic. It's at a bar, like literally down the street, and there's some people who've bombed, and people still fuck with him because it's like we're all here for the same
it's a
reason,
growing experience.
Right?
Yeah, you can't go out and expect to kill every night. Like nobody does that. Everybody has a down day.
The man, even there was some like Kevin Hart when he was like trying out jokes. I'm like, this shit's not funny.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
And I mean, not every joke is gonna land. Some, like I said, is this funny or do I just find this funny? Like, because in your mind it connects to something that like makes you laugh that maybe you experienced past life. Not everybody experienced that with you.
Right.
So you might say something, they're like, damn, like that isn't funny. That's messed up.
But see, that's the beauty about comedy that people don't understand. It's supposed to be what real life is not. Meaning, I should be able to say a joke about, let's just say, like 9/11 or something.
Yeah.
In real life, it's not funny. People really got impacted. But if the joke is funny,
yeah,
like
no, I've always been a big. If it's funny, it's funny. Like, right. I'm sorry, like,
see, I'm a dark humor type of guy.
Yeah, no, same. Yeah, I mean, introduce me to a person who was in the military that doesn't have a fucked up sense of humor.
Oh yeah,
and that I'll show you somebody that wasn't in the military very long. Like, everybody that I know that was in the military, regardless, officer, enlisted, fucked up jokes.
Yeah,
like.
Because again, man, what is life without humor? And like even with stereotypes, bro, like some stereotypes are stereotypes because it's fucking true.
Yeah, I mean,
like Popeyes is not fucking. It's not. It doesn't have a black lady as the mascot for no reason. Man,
it's delicious though.
Man, it's fucking delicious.
Fucking delicious.
Man,
those biscuits, man.
Love
those biscuits.
Man?
Hell yeah. Or just a sweet tea for me.
Ooh.
Like, I don't even need the honey. Like, I'll just take a bite of the biscuit and then wash it down with sweet tea. Just like alternate sweet tea and
See, I'm so upset, man, because I'm on a diet. And yesterday it wasn't like junk food, but my mom made some chili for the Super Bowl and some like beanie weenies and things like that. So I kind of indulged. Today I had the meanest heartburn, and I still had to do like leg day. And I ran. Yeah. I was like, bro, this shit sucks.
I gotta get back in the gym. I dropped a fair amount of weight when I was in the nail program because they had a gym available at the school. Really? So it was literally, I got out at 3 o'clock. I went straight to the gym. I worked out until 4, and then I went and picked the baby up from pre-K. It was just perfect timing. And I was still working out even after I graduated, but they didn't want you to. They were like, if you're not an enrolled student, you shouldn't be using the facilities. So I told them, I was like, I'm re-enrolling. Like, I'm going to do another program. I'm just waiting on my license. So they let it go for a couple of weeks, and then they were finally like, all right, you have to re-enroll before you can come back.
Right.
So I lost my gym access. And I was like, well, I don't want to get a gym membership because I'm going back to school, and I'll just start back at the gym when I get to school.
Right.
So, and I had a great workout partner. He was, God, like 12 years younger than me. So, like, he was pushing me.
Yeah.
And I was lifting weights every day. That's what I did. I was just going straight there and lifting weights 4 days a week. And I dropped like 35 pounds and put on a fair amount of muscle. I had some pretty decent definition, and especially my arms and my chest. I still had a gut, but it was shrinking, you know? And I definitely wish that I had never stopped going to the gym. Like, I wish I had said, no, I'm going to get a gym membership. I'm going to keep going and keep that habit, because when I went back to school, I didn't go back to the gym. And now I'm back before literally, it's like I never started in the gym. Like, I'm literally back to where I was at. So I really need to get back in the gym, because that's something that I felt so much better.
Yeah.
Like, I really did. Not just confidence wise, like, ooh, my clothes fit better. I feel like I'm walking taller, like I'm more proud, but literally, like, I felt better. Like, I feel like digestion was better. Like, because I was up and moving. So I really do want to get back in the gym. I think I'm going to, I don't know, sign up a 10 gym or something like that.
Dude, you should, man. Because
I got to get back in the gym. I miss it.
It's a beautiful thing. The day I remember this day like it was yesterday, when I finally decided to go to the gym. So before I started becoming this new man, I was hella, like I said, out of shape. I was undetermined. I would talk a good game but not follow through. I'd quit a lot of jobs. I was a bum, basically. And it wasn't until my son started learning how to walk. So probably like a whole year after he was born, we were outside, and him walking around, my back was hurting just standing there. And I was like, this is not the move. Which is funny because I was working at Planet Fitness at the time down the street.
Really?
I was working overnights, and I met this man named Bulldog. He was in the military as well, I believe the Army. But he was fat but strong as shit.
Yeah.
And I guess he fucks a lot of white women, so I looked like one of his kids. he was like, you look like my son. And just from that day forward, he was a bouncer as well, but we started clicking, and I texted him. I was like, hey, man, when you get back in the gym, because I think he was like hurt or something, let me know. I would like to do this. And actually, I think I was unemployed. Yeah, I think I got fired. It was some shit. But I started going, lifting weights, and things started to happen. Like, I started feeling more confident. But it wasn't until a couple months later when I started working at a dispensary that I couldn't go with him. And I was like, you know what can I do? So I went back to the same boxing place that I was at in high school, it was expensive. $100 a month. I have a newborn basically, or a 1-year-old.
Yeah.
And too much. So my podcast partner, who I met through the grapevine, was promoting this other gym that was open. It was $40 a month. I was like, oh shit, 40 I can do. So me and my son's mom and my son went up there and we got a family plan. I think it was like 50 or 60 bucks. And from that day forward, man, almost every day boxing. And now that we're here.
Yeah.
So I say all that to say it really does give you a sense of identity. Because now, even though I hate every fucking moment I'm at the gym, it's like breathing to me. If I don't go, my day is fucked.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that's the habit that I wish I'd never broken, is that feeling like I got to go to the gym. Like, and it was like a piece of my day had gone wrong if I didn't make it to the gym.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be there. I'd text my partner and be like, you going to the gym? He'd be like, because he didn't want to go either. He'd text me and be like, I don't know, are you going? I'm like, you answer first. And he'd be like, yeah, I'm going to go. I'm like, all right, I'll see you there. Or I'd say, yeah. He's like, I was going to skip if you said you was going to skip. But since you said yes, let's go.
Man, I saved, it was on Facebook, but I guess there was these two friends doing a voice chat. And one friend was like, yeah, man, I think we're going to skip the gym today and go tomorrow. He was like, yeah, man, that sounds good. Your girl did it. Oh my goodness, she treated him like a gym when she was bouncing on his dick and shit. Like, I guess the guy got cheated on. So I listened to that audio and I'm like, you know what? That is right. I did get cheated on. She didn't skip that day, so why do I skip today, man? But yeah, you have to get to a point to where you trick yourself into going, because once you're there, might as well do it, right?
Yeah, for
and then
sure.
once you're done, you're like, okay, it was worthwhile.
Yeah. When I first started going, I was kind of spinning my wheels because I didn't know what I was doing. Like, I wanted to lift, but I've never really enjoyed lifting.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say I enjoyed lifting. I enjoyed the result of lifting. But yeah, I was kind of spinning my wheels, didn't know what I was doing, and then an acquaintance of mine that I met in school had previously been a trainer, and she was like, "I make you a workout plan." I was like, "Cool." So she made me a workout plan, and I was doing it, but I was still like, I was being too conservative. I was like, yeah, I could probably go heavier, but I'm not going to because I'm working out by myself. Yeah. And then this guy, Tristan, he was in the massage program. He was working out, and he had a few people that he was working out with. And one day we ended up using the same machine. I was like, hey, you care if I work in with y'all? So we got to talking, and it was like, I like D&D. You like D&D. He's a nerd. I'm a nerd. So we just started like nerd talk.
Man, if you have like a beginner's D&D class,
let
dude,
me
know, bro.
No, I need to. I would love to do that.
Really? Because I love
D&D.
I have so like much. The beginner D&D box that I've never opened.
Oh,
I think I opened it like twice or 3 times.
I've got like, we play with a battle map, and we've got minis.
Really?
And, like, yeah. We play with so many minis. Like, I've got like hundreds of miniatures.
Man, there's a nice one. I think we talked about it during the party, but it's called Critical Hits.
Yeah.
One of the guys I had on my other podcast, he runs it, and it's a nice store. He has Yu-Gi-Oh cards, cool. Minis, everything.
I've always wanted to get like a group of actors together. Like, I mean, I've wanted to do this since before like Critical Role and all, like before it was a thing. Like everybody doing podcast D&D sessions, but like I always wanted to like get together with other actors and just sit down and really go in a deep role play. Like, so like
try Twitch. I think, but people.
Oh yeah,
it's kind of like a live podcast, but
see, I'm weird. I've played on like Roll20 and I've played on like online, but dude, there's no substitute for pen, paper, and a group of people in a room, because the way you can play off of people's emotions or even mannerisms, like, is so much more in depth. Like,
right, I agree, and when people get into character too, and because to me, like I was raised in the hood, so like that's not really a thing people do. So I want to be in character.
Other side of the coin, I was raised country as hell, and you did not do that.
Right.
It was from the devil.
Yeah,
like, it was a different.
It was
different. It wasn't nerdy or something you didn't do. It was from the devil.
Yeah.
Like, are you summoning demons? Like, you're gonna get possessed.
What do you mean
like,
you're gonna roll?
So yeah,
3 6s. What is going on?
6 what? Yeah. So there's a reason that's 6-sided.
Man. But yeah, so like even with Twitch, if you get like a group of people together, you can just film y'all doing it. That would be really cool.
And we've talked about it too, but but it would have to be like hardcore R-rated, because we talk about some weird shit when you're playing D&D.
I talk about a lot of weird
Yeah,
shit.
no.
I talked about eating bananas out of a famous girl's coochie last week. And, things happen, like, talking about race play as well, like, during sex. Kind of scared of that, but I kind of want to know what it's like. You feel me? But that's just me, okay?
Yeah.
Life is interesting. There's so much beauty in life that people don't understand that is possible. Even if you don't travel, even if you don't make millions of dollars, having a good group of friends that you can count on at important times, or even just getting together, that is what beauty is. But I feel like people try to chase things that are not really worth it.
Yeah.
Like there's this whole thing in the Bible talking about, like, oh, we try to do this, do that, but it's like grabbing the wind.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to think about it. I was like, that is true. Like, all the accolades, like, there's people who would miss their children's lives in order to get that next promotion.
Yeah.
Or to get the business. Like, no, it's for my children. You being there, it's for the children. You actually caring means way more than millions of dollars.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's
it's difficult, man.
Yeah, I mean, you have to decide: do I want this, or do I want to spend time with my family?
And we have so much more time than we think we do. Like, let's just say you wake up 2 hours earlier, get what you need to get done, and then the kids wake up, and now it's like, all the shit I got to do is done, so now I get to... But we don't see it that way. We go along with the construct of time, and even though time is a way to keep things organized, it really doesn't exist.
Yeah.
If the moon and sun never switched spots, we wouldn't fucking understand what time is. And so we have to utilize that time.
Or just doing things more efficiently. Like, I've noticed that, like, I used to like just specifically like clean the house. I used to run around like, oh, tidy this, tidy that, all over the house, and finally I was like, why am I doing this? Like, I'm gonna clean this room, and when this room is done, I'm gonna move on.
That's how I am,
my housework got so much more efficient. Like, instead of going like, oh, I'm gonna clean the table off, then I'm gonna do dishes, then I'm gonna vacuum, then I'm gonna dust. Like, because when I was a stay-at-home dad, Carla was working, I was staying at home, and I was playing World of Warcraft hardcore, like, because I was staying home dad.
Never played. I watched the movie.
Oh man, I played so much WoW. But literally, I was like, how can I maximize my playtime? So streamlining the house stuff that I was doing because she was working, I was staying home.
Right.
I was like, if I can get this down to 2 hours and have the house clean, then I can play from 9 a.m.
Smart man.
until 4 p.m. Then I cook dinner. Like,
hell yeah.
So literally, and I had an alarm. Like, I was staying home with the baby. I had an alarm that would go off on WoW. It would flash on my screen. Feed the baby.
That's dope.
And I would go make her lunch, and then I would fucking feed her. Because I put her down for her nap, play some more. Like, I played so much WoW.
Man, see, that's why I'm glad we met, man. I was thinking, I overthink a lot. Like, when you text no, I'll see you. And I was like, is he mad at me? Like, did I fuck up somewhere? Yeah. That's why I was like, oh, sorry, man. Like,
when you texted that back, I was like, come to my house. Why would he come to my? And then I was like, oh, he thinks I said no. Yeah. Like, I ain't doing that shit. Like, and I was like, no, it was supposed to be NP, no problem. With autocorrect.
Yeah. Man, I was at the gym stressing. I was like, oh. But yeah, man, like, it's just, I don't know where I was going with that. But anyway. That's the beauty of podcasting. Yeah. You can fuck up.
Yeah.
But no, man, like, utilizing time is such a beautiful thing, because now you're opening up possibilities for just other shit. Like, let's just say you procrastinated your whole life and wanted to go to the military, or wanted to go be a nail tech or whatever. You would be out of time. Not necessarily, but you wouldn't have gained as much as you have already. So that's another dope thing. Oh, that's where I was going. Meeting people. People. Yeah, like, we only met one time, and I overthink, because I was like, man, what if I tell him I broke up with Eugene? Now he's like, no, I'm her friend. Yeah. I can't be your friend.
You didn't get me in the breakup. No, I just, that was just, like, literally her coming to the party. Like, we only met once before that party. Like, I met her at the fashion show in Kansas City, and I was like, man, she's cool people. Yeah, like, I'm going to invite her to the party,
She was dope as shit, man.
She was like, when she's RSVP, yes, I was like, no shit. All right, cool.
Yeah.
And then meeting you at the party, I was like, damn, he was cool. Like, we meshed and had a good conversation. And
Hell yeah.
so no, I mean, I'm totally. If we can find a time, like Carly's not going to give me another day. Like I can't have 2 D&D sessions a week, but we'll find a way.
Yeah,
and even if it's just a one shot,
Yeah, is it in your town? I forgot what town you live in.
Oh, I
Where'd you
actually
do
play
it
here in
at?
Tulsa. A friend of mine, we go to his house, and me and him built this. He has a small kitchen table, like it's only like I don't know, maybe 3.5 feet by like 3 feet. Like it's a really small square table. So we actually built. It goes over the top of the table and locks in.
Oh,
So
damn.
and that makes it like I think it ended up being like 9 feet by 4 feet. So it gives us like a huge playing surface.
Right.
So we put that up. We move it to his living room and sit around it in mismatched chairs. And,
What days?
we play on Sundays.
Sundays?
Yeah.
If I'm invited, or like if he says yes, I'd love to.
We actually had somebody drop out, so I'll ask them if you're interested.
Sure. Yeah, I'd love that. That'd be nice.
I'll ask the group once we're done here. I'll text the group like, hey,
Hell
I got a
yeah.
guy who's interested in playing. Does anybody care?
Thanks, man. Yeah.
I don't think anybody will mind.
Good. And if you do know other people who want to be like skits and shit, because we talked about
Yeah.
that, and yeah, I just want to do so much, man. Like I see myself being great. I don't know specifically what it's going to be, but I know it's going to be something.
Yeah.
And on the other side, I've noticed if I don't do nothing about it, those dreams will die with me.
Yeah.
Like there was a big time in my life, especially through the breakup with my son's mom, that I was listening to motivational speeches almost every day. And that showed me like, there's other, especially when you read the comments, like I do one for men or breakups and things like that, and just seeing how many other men hurt and feel the same way, I was like, yeah, it has to be a change. But there was this guy was like, man, imagine you're on your deathbed and all the dreams came to you that you didn't fulfill, and they were like, why didn't you make me reality? Like we have to die with you. And that's something I didn't want to have. Like I want to live until I'm like, bro, I'm done living, you know? And in that time, I want to make it worthwhile. Like, I had real bad anxiety and depression as a teenager, and I still feel it sometimes now, but I was afraid of dying young. And for some reason, the more weight I lose, the more I feel like my body is like, all right, we're about to die tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
Like, I just ran 3 miles. How am I about to die? But that's how I feel.
Yeah.
But I say all that to say, like, I don't want to worry about dying young, but I want to worry about living a long life and not achieving anything.
Yeah.
Like if I could, to me, I feel like that's torture in itself.
Yeah.
Like that meth addict, his life is over before it even probably began.
Probably.
Like
he wasn't old. He was in his 20s probably.
Right, and it's so sad. I think I was talking to somebody about this the other day, just addiction, but we don't know what these people go through, but again, they could have been the next doctor who cured cancer, but it dies with them, and I just don't want that to be my story, So it's really dope to see somebody who has achieved a lot and still want to go. I was watching Cat Williams' interview with Theo Vaughn, and he was like, Cat was like, I still don't feel like I'm at my funniest. I still don't feel like I've achieved greatness. And I'm like, bro, you were the most talked about band for 2024. You broke the internet.
When people can pick you out of a crowd.
Yeah.
Like,
man.
Like when people can pick you out of a crowd, I think that's when you are like really famous.
Right.
Like,
I walked past my mom the other day and she was like, hey stranger. I was like, Mom, it's me. So, oh son, you're losing weight. I'm like, come on now, man.
Yeah. That's funny as hell.
But man, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. I like to have people say, like, for people who are watching this, what advice do you have? But I feel like you really utilize this time to really go into especially about fatherhood, like go into detail on how to do, and of course being a husband as well. I feel like you went into detail with that, but just to the people who will see this and be like, well, what is there out there for me? Or I maybe want to go into something that people think is weird, like nail tech, or I'm not saying it's weird, guys, but what other people see as weird. But like for those people who are ambitious but are scared to take that leap.
I would just say do it. Don't worry about what other people are going to think of you, because more than likely you're never going to see them again.
Right.
Like, don't read the comments also. Like, I'm sorry, but I avoid the comments like the plague. Like, if I post content, most of the time, I'm not even going to look at the comments.
Yeah. Mostly
because it may be 1,000 positive ones, but that one negative one might be the thing that makes you stop.
Yeah.
So unless it's something you really need feedback on, I don't read the comments.
Yeah.
I try not to. I made that mistake when I first got on TikTok, and I was like, oh, these are all overwhelmingly positive. And then there was that one thing they said, and I was like, God dang, that was brutal. Like, I can't believe they said that.
Man.
So, I mean, just don't be afraid to do it. Like, if you want to do anything, I don't care if you're 500 pounds and want to do ballet, go learn ballet.
Yeah.
If you're, don't be scared to try new things. I've done so many things that for no reason, just other than I grew up watching how they made it, that show, and I want to do that. Like, I've done blacksmithing, woodworking.
Oh, man, I want to do some blacksmithing and what is it, like the glass forming shit?
Yeah.
I want to learn how to do that.
Stained glass?
Yep, that one, and making a sword, man.
Dude, yeah, I made 36 knives.
Damn, that cabinet, guys, not a cabinet, whatever you have, whatever it's called, in your house.
It's like floor to ceiling bookshelves.
Bro, that shit is dope.
Thank you.
And when your wife said that you made it, I was like,
that was
it came with the house.
Yeah, that was just my first. I built everything ground up, built the cabinet doors, and it's just internet. Like, you want to learn to do something, Google it and do it. Like, just do it. Like, if you mess it up, scrap it and start again. I mean, I remember I was going to make a knife out of a wrench. It was right after I started blacksmithing. And I put it in there, and then when I pulled it out, it had completely melted. Like, it was just a nub of a wrench. And I was like, well, that one didn't work.
Well, fuck it.
And what do? You throw it in the oil bin, grab another wrench, and start over.
Yeah.
Like, so don't be afraid. There should be nothing that would stop you from trying something new.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously be safe. Like, don't say I'm going to go try to fly. You're not going to do it. But go skydiving with a wingsuit. You know?
Yeah.
Like, if you want to do it, do it. Don't let anything stop you from following your dreams, especially the negativity of other people.
Yeah.
Don't let. I wanted to go to beauty school when I was young in the 90s. Like, right out of high school, I thought about doing it.
Yeah.
But everybody was like, "Oh, that's gay. Oh, don't be a fag."
Yeah, that's what they do.
So I didn't do it.
They kill dreams, man. For people who don't have a vision, they are good at killing dreams.
Yeah. And one of my favorite things. I mean, this for me, this would be a good thing to end on. My father-in-law did not understand when I went to beauty school. He's a Marine. He's a hunter, fisher. He's a man's man.
Yeah.
And I told him I was going to learn to do nails, and he was like, "What?" And
of course, Air Force man.
Yeah, and something he said exactly, and something he said to my wife, and it will always be one of my favorite things he ever said. He said, "On an almost daily basis, you make me question the definition of masculinity." And I thought, that's exactly what I want.
Right.
I want to make you question traditional masculinity. Because I feel like I'm a fairly masculine person.
Hell yeah.
But I paint my nails. I do other people's nails. I do makeup. I've done my own makeup. Male, female, drag. I'm still a masculine person.
Right.
You know, so don't let other people's views of you stop you from doing what you want to do.
100%. Yeah, and then just one more thing. Like, fail often.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Failing is not the end of whatever you got going on. Failing is literally, this is not how it works.
Yep, that's learning.
Now because the definition of insanity is doing something over and over again, expecting a new result. So if you don't understand why you're failing, or you take that failure and was like, oh, maybe I'm just not good at it, that's another part of insanity.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like the light bulb took thousands of tries.
That one didn't work.
Yeah, if you gave up on 999, who would have known that we have lights today, man?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Shout out Thomas Jefferson. Is it Thomas Jefferson? Light bulb?
Edison?
Thomas Edison. Shout out to you, man. All right, from us to you all, may your pain be champagne.